Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're giving our first impressions of Codex Naturalis, which is a game coming from Pandasaurus Games. You can see it's a very small box game. And that's mostly because it's made up of mainly cards, and then a kind of a little board, and then some wooden token pieces to keep track of your score.
Tokes.
You can check out an unboxing video that we'll have going up alongside this if you want to see it. We'll say the cards are really solid. They've kind of got the gold and foil on some of them. Tints.
Foil.
You kind of see that on the box as well. I think maybe I probably can't see it from there, but yeah, some really solid cards. I think in the unboxing video, if I remember right, these ones were like all stuck together. Because they were, I don't know how they were made, but probably pressed together. They're kind of plasticky cards, so they kind of got all stuck together. So the first time through, you kind of have to rip them apart a little bit. But I didn't notice any. You didn't notice any damage on any of them, did you?
No.
I didn't notice that either. But yeah, this is a game where you are racing to an amount of points, and I will say those are very hit and miss for me. Me personally, just sometimes it's very difficult. Like I feel like Architects it was my top game of all time at one point, and then we all just started doing the Cathedral strategy, and then it became a race game. And I still love what it does with the worker placement, but that just makes me kind of disappointed. I'm like, I just banned that part of the game, and we do everything else.
That sucks though, because then you get rid of a whole action that someone needs. But anyway, I would say there are more misses with you. I feel like there's not many race games I can think of that you actually like.
Yeah, I don't.
Most of the time you're like, nah.
Yeah, because I like to prolong things, like in a Tapestry or even like an Everdell. That's also not one that you should like be trying to be totally efficient necessarily. Sometimes, I mean, you do to some degree, but you also don't want to. Yes, I got all 15 played, and now I've got a whole nother round. And I can't even play any other ones, kind of thing. I have that kind of issue. But yeah, this one's also a race game where you are placing these cards with kind of corners that have symbols on them. There's 4 different symbols, and those symbols will be needed to kind of fulfill other cards that have point values. Sometimes it's just straight up values. Sometimes it's like, depending on how many corners you cover or how many icons you have. And you're managing a hand of, I think, 3 of them at a time. Yep. And then you are just placing it on top of the other ones. I never remember what that's called, if it's like splaying or melding or something where you're placing on top of other cards. And I've loved this ever since it was in Fall of the Mountain King.
Yep.
It's not quite the same in this one, but I've liked the kind of thought of covering up other cards and having them. This one isn't as enjoyable as that. I find that to be one of the funnest mechanisms in any game. But this doesn't live up quite to that, but it still makes some interesting decisions because you sometimes have to choose whether or not you want to cover up symbols in order to play these cards. And yeah, I guess, would you describe anything additional that's going on in the game? You're just trying to get those point cards done because you want to be the first to kind of cross 20 points. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily win, but you should probably have a good chance if you're the first one to do it.
Yeah, and there's kind of this dynamic so there's 2 types of cards. There's kind of these harder to play cards but have rewards on them like points, or there's like the more basic cards which get you a lot of icons, which allows you to play cards. So it's always kind of this shift of like, how much can I squeak by with before I need to grab like one of those cards, or how can I configure these ones that I have on the table? What do I need? Those kinds of things. So.
Yeah, and I would have almost preferred. I guess I don't know how easily you'd be able to track it, but I think I would have preferred if it was a set number of turns. And you just see who gets the most points in that amount, and you could kind of use your 20-point system in order to figure out how many turns it would typically take for someone to get to 20, and then base it off of that. But I don't know how you would track that with the current system.
Yeah, you'd have to have your own little score.
Right, but that way you kind of know when it's going to end and try to get certain things played.
Maximize it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
It's-
you would like
it's
it
the
that
one thing
way.
I would like to change just for personal preference. But
Yeah.
the 20 points still works. It's kind of the same thing. It's just changes the number of rounds. And luckily, I think you get like one extra. You get to finish that round and then get one more turn.
Yeah.
So you get time to at least do potentially a couple things if you were setting up and then all of a sudden the game the game end triggers.
Yeah.
And yeah, but we have actually played this one a couple times now, and yeah, I've enjoyed this one. It's a pretty quick game. We've played at 2 players. It can go up to 4, I believe. Yes, it can. And I think it would still be pretty quick at 4, just because you're not really interfering with what other people are doing necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take the card that they want, because you're refilling your hand with either of these face-up cards, or you can take from the top of the deck, so you could, I guess, potentially mess with them, but otherwise they should be able to figure out what they're going to do by the time their turn comes back around.
Yeah.
So I would think it'd still be pretty quick.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I'd probably... I don't know, what would I give this? A 7 to 7.25, maybe?
Big.
I'd like to play this one every now and then. I think it's interesting, but yeah, it's just that I don't know. Like, you get a end game card that you get to score, which is nice, but
Your choice
I don't know
between
that
2.
choice between 2, and I don't know that you're gonna get. And then there's 2 kind of community ones that everyone can score potentially, and I just don't know that you can get all that many points from them. So.
Well, it's not supposed to be a high point game. I think
I
the
don't
board
think
only
it is.
goes up to 30.
That's true.
If
That is fair. That is fair. I don't know. I think I like the building out of the thing, and it just feels like I want to do more with this. So it's maybe another one of those games where kind of the end game and end scoring isn't as fun as I would enjoy, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I just would maybe like to keep going out, building out, and doing something. I don't even know.
Man. Well, I would give this one probably in the same range, the 7 and a half, 7 to 7.5 maybe, if I'm gonna split for once. But I've got different reasonings for mine.
Wow.
I think it's a full game. I like how
Whoa.
it is. Like I think
It's too long for you.
It's
25 minutes.
It's not too long for me. I enjoy it. I like how it lays out. I like the cards. I like the race aspect, but I've been known to like race aspects better than you. The only thing I think is there's a couple of things. Like one, the corner placement rules with some of the cards is kind of tricky because they have icons showing you where you can place a card on top of, and then there's cards that have no corner placements, but that doesn't mean you can't place them anywhere. You just would only be able to place them on a corner placement area. So
you just wouldn't be able to place anything on that corner.
Exactly. So it's just a little bit tricky, I think, on some of the laying rules, which I think with time would just get better because you'd understand it more. The other reason, though, is just, like, I don't know that the replayability is there, like, really heavily because it is kind of the same thing. I really have enjoyed our 2 playthroughs of it. It's not one that I would mind taking off the shelf every now and again. Probably would be just fine at 4 players, too. So, I think all really good things. There's just a couple of things. And I think about, like, it's so small. Like, would we travel with it? And the reason I give it a 7 is because I'm like, I don't know that I would tell you to bring this game. Even though it is so small and compact, I just don't know that I'd want to play it, like, 5 times if this is, like, one of, like, 2 options that we have. If it's, like, not, like, a non-game traveling trip.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I agree that it's going to be whether or not you end up just enjoying the experience of playing it. I would say King Domino could feel the same every time, but that is one that I try to bring up in almost every video we film.
We've got hundreds of games.
And that's the one I always bring up.
King
And I don't even think we've played it in
Not in a while.
probably a year or so, but it's just one that just tickles me, and I just love when I play it every time, even though there's probably some people that'd be like, I played it 5 times, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair thought as well.
I don't. They're wrong, but...
So, I mean, yeah, this one could be one where maybe as you're playing it more and more, just like, yeah, I'm still loving the experience, but could also be one where after enough plays, you're just kind of like,
Yeah, I think that's
use a little more.
While I like the race, actually, I think if the scoring was a little bit more dynamic, I think that's the one thing for King Domino is even though the scoring is the same, it's dynamic in how you lay the tiles and stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know, but
yeah,
it's a good game. It's a full game. I like it.
Yeah, I would agree. Another hit from Pandasaurus Games. But yeah, if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more first impressions unboxing videos, subscribe for the future content. But otherwise, we hope to see you on our other videos. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.